Good evening, everyone. And what a beautiful evening it is. It is very beautiful, and I'm honored to be here representing the Alexandria Historical Society, and I want to welcome you to our annual award ceremony. Before I get started on finishing my welcome, I have the pleasure of meeting all our high school honorees, and you all are amazing, exceptional, and thank you for being a part of our program. We have our exceptional high school students as well as our adult awardees. I met Ms. Converse already, so thank you. I didn't get to meet our other awardees here. Okay. So I really am, Mr. Enrique, I think it's here. I really am honored to be up here to present the awards tonight. So these awards aren't just about achievement, it's about being courageous and having the courage to tell history. And we appreciate that. And our exceptional high school students, well, I'm so proud of you because you bring new insight, you ask those bold questions, and keep doing what you're doing. And to our adult awardees, we thank you for preserving this history, the importance of preserving history, elevating those overlooked voices, and ensuring that Alexandria's history is embedded in truth for generations to come. I'm particularly interested in our keynote speaker, Mr. Henriques, because not only does he says that the study of history is more than just academic exercise. It's about being courageous, having wisdom, and having purpose. And as we learn our past, we understand our present, and we can imagine a better future. So with that said, I welcome you all, especially our high schoolers, Charlotte, Emilio, Davy, and Margo. We talked a bit. I'm going to let you slide. You said you're interested in Hampton, but as we discussed, the real HU is Howard University, my alma mater. So I thank you, and I want to turn this over to our immediate past president, Ms. Pam Cressy.
Good evening. This is our favorite event. We love history because we're kind of nerds and like hearing all that stuff, but having community with us and honoring people for exceptional achievement and abilities, both from the past and those that will be in the future, is part of the DNA of the Alexandria Historical Society. We are 52 years old this year. Well, I'd like to be 52, but the society is 52. And we have been honoring students for 42 years. And students were the first awardees of the Historical Society. And I think that's really an important statement about the founders of our group. Starting back, they started in 1974. But the first students, if we think about this, and we're still using the same criteria that they had. And I think that means they're not only traditional, but they're eternal qualities for humanity and for understanding each other and for inquiry and learning. And those are, for our student awardees, academic achievement. You do have to work a little, the Historical Society says. But also interest and passion for the past. It matters. We care. We're looking into it. We're going to ask questions. And how about also the awareness of the role of history in the world and the role of historians? I thought that was pretty interesting that people were thinking that. And we have Professor Henriques here that we can also say thank you for what he has done. And then, so that people are also involved, they're motivated to learn. And lastly, I thought this was particularly interesting because it's not just about learning for yourself. The Historical Society said leadership and communication skills. It's about sharing. It's being a part of the world, a part of your community, and using history and your ways of looking at history, not just information, but the questions you can ask, to share with your family and with your community. And I think that's very important. This award is not given to students expecting everyone to be a historian. So don't worry, we're not expecting you to have to be a PhD in American history. Rather, we know whatever you do with the skills that you're acquiring through historical work and the kind of personality and character you have will be very important in whatever you achieve and decide to do. Now, because we are a historical society, a little history. The original recipients of this award in 1984, I don't think any of our current recipients were born then, are now 60 years old. So 42 years ago, they were sitting in this room wondering what they were going to be doing in college and in their lives. Pretty interesting. Now they're thinking, what am I going to do in my golden years? And I bet you there'll be some history involved, whether it's their family history or any element of historical knowledge and training and thinking that they do. 170 students have received this award over all of these years from the 4 largest high schools. And we do realize there are many other ways of learning today from our 4 schools, but traditionally we have kept with this way of doing it, but we'd be interested in inquiring in other ways to recognize students beyond these 4 schools. Now, what do you get from the History Society? Well, we do have a little cash for you. And when I say little, in this day and age, I guess you would probably think it is little. But 42 years ago, it would have been a heck of a lot. And we've got some parents nodding, right? Yeah. You know, this would have paid for my books in college, you know, for a good long time. So we want to thank you and give you just a little cash to take you on your journey. And the other award, which again is very traditional, very Virginian, I would say, are the Jefferson Cups. Now, these are kind of, people have seen this. Like I see a lot of heads nodding, Jefferson Cups. Well, they're kind of clever. I mean, they're short, they fit in your hand. This one's very shiny. And they're engraved with your name, your school, your year, and this award. So this is a keepsake, and it's from King's Jewelry. They provided them for 42 years, and we want to thank them for that. And I'd also like to thank Ann Kaup, an Alexandrian, who is the sponsor for the Cash Awards. So we really appreciate our Alexandrians awarding and rewarding our students that way. Now, why do we give this cup, and why is it called Jefferson? I got to do history. Sorry, just a moment of history. So Thomas Jefferson designed the shape of this cup. And he used silver, partially. He asked for 6 cups to be made by a silversmith in Richmond. And he designed it, all the specifications. He wanted to make sure it had a nice flat round bottom, a certain height, held in your hand a certain way. And he said 2 of the cups should be made from melted down silver that he received after the death of his great teacher and mentor, George Wythe, who was a teacher at William and Mary School of Law in the 18th century. And he was a judge at the time that he died in Richmond. And Tom Jefferson inherited 2, we don't know what they were, but some kind of silver items, goblets or something. And he said, melt these down, and I want the 2 cups with silver to say GW, George Wythe, to TJ, Thomas Jefferson. The other 4 were just to say TJ. Now we know, these were kind of originally meant for traveling and whatnot, kind of handy, and they're tumblers, they're called tumblers. But we know from someone who dined at Monticello that in fact they were used in that lovely dining room at the table. And they probably held a hard cider, or I think Thomas Jefferson did write he liked a malt liquor as well. So we're not exactly sure what was in this cup. None of that is in these cups tonight. No, no, no. So that's not one of the awards. I think it's fascinating that these cups have become sort of synonymous with Virginia, synonymous with history. You do see them different places. And I looked up, why the heck are they called tumblers? Because they're not falling over. Did you know in the 14th century, tumblers were just acrobats? The word tumbler was just an acrobat person, like in a court, tumbling around. And the original cups, kind of like this, had a point on them. And you drank from them and held them, but then you turned them upside down so they didn't fall over. So this just ended up becoming a tumbler. But it's not so that we hope you tumble in life. But maybe a keepsake like this, who knows, now all the things you might have kept in it, we don't use anymore. Coins, like, Emilio, do you carry a lot of coins around in your pocket that you have to empty your coins? No, probably not. Do you have paper clips and stuff? No, maybe not a lot of paper clips. Keys, oh, even keys are sort of, no, we got things to, So I don't know what the heck you're going to put in here, but I hope you put anything that you want over the next 60 plus years. And always remember that you are appreciated, you are recognized, you are honored for who you are and what you accomplish. And that's always the way it will be in life for all of us. I received an award in high school. I can barely remember. It seemed like a really dark room with a bunch of grumpy men. But I got a medallion. I'm like, whoa, what do you do with that? But it said for leadership, and I think I was just bossy in high school, but it was for leadership. And they said, honor and serve. And when I go back and look at that, you know what? That's kind of what I wanted to do in life, was to honor and serve. So I hope that the cup will remind you of the values of history and the values of inquiry. So I'd like to now start with our awards. Do we have any of our councilmen here? Yeah, please come up. Please come up, yes. Thank you, thank you. This is great. You look marvelous. This is great. Thank you. Thank you. So, yes, I have some introductions. So I'd like you to meet our two councilmen, and we are so honored. Let me step over here so you can hear. We are so honored to have you both tonight. Maybe just step a little so I'm not standing in front of you.
If you're in the middle, you're fine.
Oh, if I'm in the middle. Okay, I'm in the middle. Thank you. So we're honored tonight to have Dr. John Chapman and I just think of you as a doctor, Mr. John Chapman and Mr. Kanik Aguirre, and both city council people. And interestingly, when we asked city council members to come and present the awards tonight, the two gentlemen could come tonight are both people that are leaders in education, who care about the education of people and the access to education of people. And I'd like to say that Mr. Chapman is a fourth-generation Alexandrian, an educator. He started and runs manumission tours, Black history in the city. He's been involved at the school board, redevelopment housing authority, and he cares about affordable housing and expanding pre-K education. Mr. Aguirre is in his third term. He is the first Latino to serve on city council, an LA native, me too. So thanks we both came east. Son of Mexican immigrants who wants to increase housing opportunities, wants to invest in public schools and transportation. He's been a part of the WMATA and VRE boards, and he wants to improve health outcomes. So we're extremely honored that that Alexandrians elect people with these values, and that they are able to be here tonight to present awards to our students and to our adult winners. So I'd like to call each of the students and the teachers up individually, and we'll present the awards individually, and then if you'll just stay up here so then we can applaud all of you at once. So, first of all, we'd like to present the award to Charlotte Secrist from St. Stephen's St. Agnes, and her teacher, David Hillick. So, Charlotte is a junior whose academic excellence and curiosity make her a standout scholar, a consistent Dean's and Heads List honoree. She balances varsity softball and field hockey with an active role in the school's theater program, most recently serving as lead sound designer for A Midsummer Night's Dream and Footloose. Charlotte is also dedicated to community service through Sunday school and summer camp programs. Her wide-ranging interests from Formula One racing to The Legend of Zelda reflect the same intellectual spirit she brings to her role as president of the SSSAS Paleontology and Archaeology Club. Yeah.
I'll keep this brief. An eclectic mind is a really valuable thing when you're a student of history, when you're a student of life. As you could tell from the introduction, Charlotte has very wide-ranging interests. In my memory, I thought that I had incorporated into my nomination for Charlotte something about the research paper that she recently turned in to me, actually earlier this week, the subject of which at the time, right, was how death was understood in the 19th century, particularly how Civil War soldiers were commemorated during that time, right? The paper that I received on Monday was about how architectural styles in DC have evolved. So you can, so you can see there's a wide range of different interests. And we did talk about it. But that captures, I think, the spirit of Charlotte's scholarship very nicely, right? She's just interested in everything, and having that kind of curiosity is one of the keys to success in the field, right, that all of these nominees or awardees, right, have excelled in. So congratulations, Charlotte. It's great to have you here tonight, and thank you very much, Pam, and members of the council for honoring Charlotte and the other honorees.
That's great. So parents get pictures, everybody satisfied, good? Yeah, let's have everybody here, all the council people. Great. Good, thank you. So, that's just not fair, is it? Not fair at all. Okay, our next student that we're going to honor is Margo Hunter from Episcopal High. Margo is standing next to her teacher, Mike Reynolds, who nominated her, and has been a member of the Society's board in the past. Well, and don't feel bad, adults, as you hear these biographies. It's very humbling. We have not accomplished in whatever number of years we've lived what you all have accomplished in your lifetime. So Margo is a junior from Washington, D.C., who exemplifies the qualities of a well-rounded and engaged student. At EHS, she participates enthusiastically in both the arts and athletics, including dance, basketball, field hockey, track, and field. Beyond campus, Margo demonstrates strong commitment to service and leadership as a member of the United States Naval Sea Cadet Corps. Her dedication to learning, teamwork, and civic responsibility distinguishes her within her school community. Mike?
One of the things that, one of the old saws is, if you do something you love for a living, you never actually have to go to work, right? So I get to read books and work with young people as smart and as nice as Margo. And so it's a really special opportunity to be able to have really great kids in class. And, Margo loves to read, loves to engage, loves to do the hard work, and then, come to class for a discussion and not be willing just to kind of take it at face value. She's going to ask questions and she's going to be curious, and that really sets the standard for her classmates and raises the bar for all of us, which is great. So Margo is a special kid, and she actually has a few words she's going to say too. So.
Good evening, everyone. I'm truly honored to be here tonight as the recipient of the Alexandria Historical Society High School History Award, representing Episcopal High School. And I want to begin by thanking the Alexandria Historical Society for not only creating this award, but for continuing to preserve the history of Alexandria and being recognized in a place like Alexandria where history feels so present and alive makes this especially meaningful to me. There's a quote my dad recently shared with me from historian David McCullough that has really stayed with me, and it's, "History is who we are and why we are the way we are." And the more I've studied history this year, the more I've realized how true that is. History isn't just about memorizing dates or names, it's about understanding people, their decisions, and the lasting impact those decisions have on the world we live in today, as many of the speakers have said today. That's something Mr. Reynolds has taught me in a way that goes far beyond the classroom. He has what I like to think of as a history brain. Just like some people naturally think in numbers, he sees the world through a historical lens. And somehow he immerses us into that perspective every single day. Whether it's a major event or a small, unexpected detail, he always has a story, a connection, or a fun fact that makes the history feel alive. What I admire most is how he constantly connects what we learn to the present. For example, this Friday in our Harkness discussion, we're reading about how World War I helped usher in the century of oil, and we're connecting it to what's happening right now in the world with rising gas prices due to the tensions in the Strait involving Iran. Moments like these remind me that history isn't always just in the past. It's unfolding all around us, shaped by the same patterns and forces that we study in class. Mr. Reynolds has pushed me to think more critically, ask better questions, and look deeper into the why behind events. More importantly, he's created an environment where curiosity matters and where we're encouraged to take pride in what we learn. I feel incredibly lucky to be in your class, Mr. Reynolds. I also want to thank the faculty at EHS for constantly pushing me toward growth and excellence. EHS has given me a strong community that challenges me, supports me, and encourages me to think beyond what I thought I was capable of. And of course, I want to thank my parents and my family. Your support, encouragement, and the sacrifices you've made to give me opportunities like attending Episcopal mean more to me than I can fully express. Everything I've achieved is built on your foundation, and I'm so grateful for all that you do for me. I'm proud to represent my school, my family, and my teachers tonight, and I'll carry forward everything I've learned, not just about history, but about curiosity, integrity, and understanding the world around me. Because, like the quote reminds us, history is who we are and why we are the way we are. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah. There you go. Do you?
You took the long way.
Thank you. Our next awardee is Davy David Fite. Please come up. And Ross DeVar, his teacher. Davy is from Alexandria City High School and is a student of history demonstrating tremendous passion for the topic. His work ethic and geopolitical awareness has helped him earn high academic achievement within my class, Mr. DeVore says. Through daily lessons in government class, Davy consistently shares thought-provoking ideas referencing historical precedent. Davy also excelled during our flagship, We the People project. Davy led his group in dissecting the merits of 1776 and the 1788, the founding date of the United States. This love for history and politics will help lead Davy towards a bright future and remain a wonderful example of civic engagement.
gonna just not work like everyone else. Thank you guys so much for being here. I just wanted to add a little bit of an even more personal touch to what I wrote, what we shared. I first want to say that I teach 9th grade ancient world history and 12th grade government, and if you ever have the opportunity to work with both 9th and 12th graders, it's a really exciting and interesting experience. So I had Davy in 9th grade, and seeing the growth that he's made throughout high school has really just been a pleasure and really exciting for me to see personally. I want to share another project that we're doing that Davy is also helping to lead his group on. For our final project, we're working on how to improve the city of Alexandria. We're working with some of the offices downtown with the local government, and we are bringing a historical perspective as well as looking at other cities on how to improve the cost of living. So he's currently working to create a presentation for the city on that. And go for it. He'll be running for office soon. And then the last thing that I wanted to note is that even though not all of us studied history, as I did not either, Davy is considering very strongly studying history as he moves forward in his education, which I just think is very admirable. So congratulations to Davy and his family. Thank you guys all for being here.
I just want to give thanks to the Historical Society of Alexandria for allowing me to be here. I want to give thanks to my parents for allowing me to nurture my love of history from when I was 6, reading a book about the Titanic, to where I am now. I want to give a thanks to Mr. DeVore and the teachers over at Alexandria City High School for, well, again, nurturing my interest in history and allowing me to explore it in an academic setting. And I just wanted to say, one of the things that has always fascinated me about history is how it is not just a singular subject, it's not just a branch on a tree, but it is the tree. Once you understand history, you can understand so much more about humanity and human condition. A phrase that is often said is that history repeats, and, well, I'm not a fan of this phrase, for history echoes. And within those echoes, we are given a very unique opportunity, because we are not the echo. We have the opportunity to see the bell that rang that echo. And we do not only see the bell, we see where it is forged. We see who forged it and what may have happened if it was forged in a different way. And through history, we can understand how to make that echo ring better and ring farther. Thank you.
I hope you will publicize your presentation to the city. And we have 2 eager listeners right here. Can you just give us a little idea of how we can help the city? How are we improving it, Davy? Can you give us one little clue to your presentation?
Graduate him tonight.
Well, to improve the city or just in general?
Well, whatever you're going to study and look at.
Well, I'd say in general, one thing that can make things a whole lot better is people understanding history and allowing that to understand the human condition. We're a very variable species. Our mind is an intricate machinery for which there is no singular answer. But to see how actions lead to other actions and this grand, almost divine logic that governs both humanity and the nature of existence itself, it's a good tool to have.
I think you might consider philosophy as well as you study. Congratulations. Thank you. as I said, it's humbling here, My life is not echoing your life yet. Our last recipient, and can we take any more? It's amazing, is Emilio Burneo and his teacher, Marie Markison. Is Marie here tonight? No? I'm sorry, Marie was not able to be here, but his teacher, Marie Markison, nominated him, and I actually had to cut this down, and I don't know if she sent you her original nomination. It's a book, and she has the gift of writing, but I'll make sure you have it, because I think it's important for you to hear everything that she said. So just a smidgen here. Amelia is a senior, and known throughout the social studies faculty as one of the most motivated, mature, intelligent, and analytical thinkers that they've ever had the opportunity to teach. He digs deep for underlying causes and effects and is quick, mentally agile, eloquent, and reflective and empathetic. Emilio is a member of the National Social Studies and Literature Honor Societies while also being a top distance runner. He plans to study liberal arts at either Notre Dame or Swarthmore in possible preparation for the law degree. Does anyone stand over there with all together for a picture? Parents need pictures. Emilio, would you like to say a few words?
I didn't know I was doing this, so I'll be a bit quicker than the others, but I just want to say thank you to my parents who've always been also fostering my education in history. They used to take me to museums and historical sites all the time as a kid, and I think that really fostered my love for history. I want to thank all my teachers at Bishop Ireton, Mr. Rauer, Mrs. Ryer, Miss Markison, and Miss Connor. They've all really challenged me to grow, not just to do the bare minimum to get an A, but to really grow in my love for history and my understanding of it. And I really thank them for giving me that challenge and that opportunity to really grow as a person and as a scholar. I would like to also thank the Alexandria Historical Society just for giving me the honor of this award and for just being here in our city, I think to preserve our history. It's really, I'm a senior right now and going to college right now. There's a lot of focus on, what's after college? What's the job? What are you doing to get a degree? What degree makes you employable? And I think as someone who's really into the humanities, I think it's really important to understand that we're preserving education and we're preserving knowledge. This is really important. The work that the Alexandria Historical Society does is so important to our society, and we really need this history. And I'm just so happy and so honored that the society exists and that I can be honored and be a part of it. So thank you so much, everyone, for preserving history and showing up here tonight. Thank you.
Tell us, where have you decided to go to college?
Oh, I haven't decided.
Oh, okay. Tick, tick, tick. The parents are like, well, yeah. Okay. What is the criterion? What's going to tip the balance?
That's a great question. I think, I visited both of them last weekend, and I think I just need a bit more reflection over the next week. So I think I'll arrive.
Very good. So we have to have you speak, please. And then we'd like all four awardees to come up for a photo for all four of you. So please come up.
Okay, I'll lower this, Okay, I also was not really aware that I was doing this, but, here we are. I would like to, first of all, thank Mr. Hillink for nominating me, and also Ms. Thompson. I'm taking 2 history courses this year. Technically, I'm taking AP U.S. History and AP African American Studies, which, although it's a studies course which focuses on interdisciplinary learning, including a lot of looking at literature, it still is it resembles a history course, which I really appreciate, especially given that I'm taking American history at the same time. I think it's really important to get the intersections and both sides of the story, both the deep focus on African American studies as well as the broader societal trends that are happening at the times, which I think is very applicable to our life today, as all of my fellow awardees have said. They've stated it probably much better than I, but it is very important to recognize history as a way to learn and a way to grow, something that I'm very passionate about. Excuse me. I would also like to thank my mom for starting me with my love for history by giving me board books on art history when I was probably 2, reading about, Renoir, Monet, all of that. Learning when I was probably about 3, I had an obsession with the Duomo in Florence, if anybody is familiar. So that tells you a bit about my kind of background in education from my mom. So I'd like to thank her for that. I think that's pretty much it.
Yay. So can we just have the 4 students come up, and will you all check your envelope that has the right name on it? Because I do have like an envelope here that.
I'll take that envelope, Pam, just write the check to me.
Davy. There you go. Got it. Great, thank you. We're done? Okay, great, thank you. And we're going to go right on to the parking board. And then would you like to say something else? Yeah, you read the proclamation to give with those words, and then you can say some words after the proclamation. That makes sense? Okay, so now, we look forward, well, I won't be here, but 42 years later, I challenge you to come back and give awards to the next generations, okay? Oh. Okay, and now I'd like to introduce Scott Vierick, who was the chair of our awards program, I hate to say for adults, but for outstanding historical contributions in Alexandria, and our city councilman will also be presenting proclamations.
All right, well, good evening, everyone. First, let's give another round of applause for our student award winners. I mean, every year, those of us on the board, we're constantly blown away by their achievements, by their ambition, and we can't wait to see what they're going to accomplish in the future. So, looking forward to seeing what all of your future career paths look like. I will say I got my degree in history, and it has led to an incredibly fulfilling career. It's led me to the Alexandria Historical Society, and through my work, it also led me to meeting my wife. So not only can a history degree lead you to a very fulfilling career, in my case, it led me to marriage with someone who's way out of my league. So a history degree, I recommend it. So as Pam said, I'm Scott Vierick, and I'm the chair of the Alexandria Historical Society's Awards Committee, and it's my honor tonight to announce the winners of the T. Michael Miller Award and the Special Merit Award. And these awards are given to recognize the best of public history in Alexandria. And one of the real joys of being the Awards Committee chair is just getting to see all the ways that people in our city are working to support history and just the many forms that it can take. Last year I was at a Historical Society event and somebody came up to me and they were like, oh, well, it's so sad. Nobody cares about history anymore. And I responded by pointing out, the many people volunteering at our city's museums, the many people researching our city's past, whether through the Office of Historic Alexandria, whether through the Historical Society,
whether through their own research, the people working as archaeologists, the people serving on our commissions dedicated to history and archaeology. And so, I'm telling this person about all the ways that people are contributing to history. And so they left with a better understanding of how people are contributing to the study of the past, and also probably being like, yeah, I'm never talking to that guy again. But tonight's winners are a reminder of the many forms that supporting history can take. For one of our winners, this means taking research, doing research, and transforming it into a product, a tour, a newspaper column that's engaging to the general public. For our other winner, this means serving on a city commission, working to get designations for key city landmarks so that they can get greater recognition and in some cases greater funding. So that's the beauty of these awards, is that they really show how we can all contribute to history in our own way and how that journey looks like it's going to be different for each person. So with that, I'm going to jump into our first award tonight, which is the Special Merit Award. Now tonight's winner researched and produced the Alexandria Women's History Walk, a self-guided tour for exploring women's history in the port city. Now, she also leads monthly tours and writes a column for the Alexandria Times focused on women's history. She also serves as a member of the Alexandria Celebrates Women Board. So for all of her efforts to share women's history in Alexandria, the Alexandria Historical Society is delighted to present the 2026 Special Merit Award to Gayle Converse. Now, for the Special Merit Award, we give this very fancy cup. Unlike Pam, I don't have a full history story about the cup beyond that we think it looks nice. So, Gayle, I'm delighted to present it to you.
I love pewter. So should I?
If you'd like to,
Okay,
yeah, absolutely.
Great. I want to see these guys too. Yeah, pewter is great, and I'm so inspired by our high school winners' remarks. My love of history began with my parents' Williamsburg wallpaper when I was little. Let me put my glasses on here. Thank you, Scott, and my thanks to the Alexandria Historical Society for, as Abigail Adams famously requested, remembering the ladies. By way of this year's award, you honor women's history. Thank you. Women are essential contributors to the greatness of our nation, our Commonwealth, and of course, our city. When we walk in the steps of these heroines, we move forward. I am grateful for the nomination by Alexandria Celebrates Women, a delightful surprise. I extend my gratitude to the Alexandria Times for publishing my women's history column for the past 6 years. No one achieves an award alone. I'd like to take a moment, though, to applaud the Office of Historic Alexandria. In my journalism career, I've lived all over the country. I have never resided anywhere so chock full of wonderful historians. And I have never seen a more dedicated group of professionals. The knowledge and the kindness that OHA extends keep volunteers like me coming back. Women are indeed a crucial part and a component of our history. We are the daughters of democracy. Let us celebrate our nation's 250th birthday by celebrating the women of Alexandria's past, present, and future. We are going to need their brilliance, their bravery, and their boldness, now and in the years ahead. Thank you. Can we do a picture?
Yeah, we can do a, actually, let's do that at the end.
Great.
Okay. So don't go far.
Okay.
So our second winner is being awarded the Team Michael Miller Award, which is named after the prolific Alexandria historian. And tonight's winner is a former National Park Service employee, and longtime member of the Alexandria Archaeological Commission. He led the effort to add the Contraband and Freedmen's Cemetery to the National Park Service's Civil Rights Network, making it the first Virginia location added to that list. He also tirelessly represented the Archaeology Commission during the Section 106 process for the Samuel Madden Homes redevelopment. Now, for those of you who don't know, Section 106 is a federal process designed to ensure that any changes to a historic research are properly mitigated. And he actually came up with the idea of, well, if these buildings are being torn down, let's create a scholarship. Let's have the developers of the new site create a scholarship in historic trades. And he got everybody on board on that. And so as a result, there's a new scholarship for people living in the city to learn about historic trades so that we can preserve the many historic buildings, not just in Alexandria, but around the country. Now, while his term on the Alexandria Archaeological Commission has concluded, he continues to work with the commission on the National Historic Register nomination for the Wilk Street Cemetery Complex. Now, outside of Alexandria, through his work with the National Park Service and his current role as the Environmental Protection Specialist at the Department of the Interior, he works to document, support, and preserve America's historic resources across the United States. So part of his job now actually involves going to where there's been a natural disaster and assessing how the disaster, like a hurricane, a tornado, has impacted the historic resources. So for his support of history, archaeology, and historic preservation, both in Alexandria and around the United States, the Alexandria Historical Society is delighted to present the 2026 T. Michael Miller Award to Seth Tinkham. Now, I mentioned that Seth's job involves a lot of travel. And unfortunately, for that reason, he cannot be here tonight. He's currently in Colorado. But luckily, we have someone to accept the award on his behalf. So if Paula could come up. Paula has served with Seth for many years on the Archaeological Commission, and I have it on her honor that she will get the award to him and not just bring it back home and put her name on a sticker on top.
Right. A couple of us are here who are also on the commission, and we've just learned a lot from him and really follow his example and his humor and his creativity. So I will get this to him.
Scout's honor?
Yeah, Scout's honor. And I'll take it for a drink, too.
Now, it's tradition that the winners of the History Awards receive a proclamation from the city, and I'm delighted that we have two members of City Council here with us tonight to read out the proclamation. So if I could have, sorry, Paula, can you come back up, Paula? Yeah, sorry. And Gayle, if you could come back up here, I'll turn things over to our City Council members for the reading of the proclamation.
All right, so good evening, everyone. Again, my name is Canica Aguirre, one of the city council members.
I'm okay.
All right. Councilman Chapman and I are going to tag team this thing a little bit, so I'm going to start with the first half and then let Councilman Chapman finish it off. So whereas historical study, preservation, and community knowledge are important to Alexandria's character, livability, and tourism, and whereas the Alexandria Historical Society has enriched community knowledge and education for 52 years, and whereas the Alexandria Historical Society annual awards are important for recognizing outstanding contributions to Alexandria's history by individuals and organizations that are conducted in most cases in a voluntary manner, and whereas the Alexandria Historical Society has been chronicling the town's history since 1974 and annually honors outstanding achievement in historical research, preservation, and education with the T. Michael Miller Award and the Special Merit Award. And whereas Seth Tinkham is honored with the T. Michael Miller Award for his long service to the Alexandria Archaeological Commission, in which he played a key role in preserving and enhancing several historic sites. He led the effort to add the Contraband and Freedmen's Cemetery as the first Virginia entry to the National Park Service Civil Rights Network. He represented the AAC on the Samuel Madden Homes Section 106 process, through which he recommended a resident scholarship in preservation trades funded by the developer as a mitigation measure, and after his term limit expired, he continues to work on the National Register of Historic Places nomination for the Wilk Street Cemetery Complex.
Whereas Gayle Converse is presented the Alexandria Historical Society Special Merit Award for her research and production of a self-guided Alexandria Women's History Walk as a member of the Alexandria Celebrates Women Board, and for the history tours she leads and columns she writes for the Alexandria Times that enhances the community's knowledge of the role women have played and continue to play in shaping Alexandria's story. And whereas the T. Michael Miller Award and the Special Merit Award, presented annually by the Alexandria Historical Society, recognize those who have made a difference in the research, preservation, and interpretation of the city's deep, dynamic, and complex heritage. Now, therefore, I, John Chapman, and Kanika Aguirre, on behalf of Mayor Leah Gaskins, Mayor of the City of Alexandria, Virginia, and on behalf of the entire Alexandria City Council, do hereby recognize April 22nd, 2026 as Alexandria Historical Society Annual Awards in the City of Alexandria, and call this observance to the attention of all of our citizens. In witness whereof, I have hereunto set my hand and caused the seal of the City of Alexandria to be affixed this 22nd day of April, 2026.
Let's give another big hand to our winners. Let's also give a big hand to Councilman Chapman and Aguirre for coming out tonight and helping us present the awards. Yeah, absolutely. You gentlemen would like to?
So history has always been near and dear to my heart. My father named me after one of the Mayan kings, and so you don't just find a name like that from, conversating with your neighbor. Well, I don't know, maybe some folks might. But it's also interesting because most people know I'm from LA. Most people know that I'm Mexican, but most people don't know where our family is from in Mexico. And where we're from is Puebla, where the Battle of Cinco de Mayo was fought. And Puebla is a very, very historical city, going back not just in the colonial times, but also in pre-Hispanic times in Mesoamerica. But with specifically colonial times, most people think about Cinco de Mayo as Independence Day for Mexico, which of course is incorrect. And I am happy that most people are beginning to realize that more now. September 16th is Independence Day for Mexico, but Cinco de Mayo commemorates the battle of a ragtag team of soldiers put together in Puebla facing, at the time, the greatest land army in the world, which was the French army. And they were able to repel the French army 4 times and hold the city. Eventually, the French did claim the city, but it was very important. And I bring this up because our family actually lives at the bottom of the hill of where that battle was fought. I grew up playing in the forts where that battle was fought. The hill leading up to the fort, which I can't imagine why the French would choose to attack from that direction when it was raining and muddy and almost a vertical going up, vertical flight. And then the other thing that makes me laugh, and the connection I'm getting to here with Alexandria, one of the things that people love coming to see here in Alexandria is the empedrada, the stone, what do you call it, the road that's the stone, how do you call it? Cobblestone, sorry, I always forget that word in English. I know how to say it in Spanish, but I don't know how to say it in English. And so our entire street in Puebla, where my father grew up and where I spent so much time, is a cobblestone street, and it is extremely difficult to go up when you're going up that hill. So there's little connections here and there, and of course, the Historical Society being here in Alexandria, so much history being here in Alexandria, and something that I could greatly appreciate. Also coming, my ancestors and my antecedents coming from an extremely historical city in Mexico as well. So to the recipients, congratulations. All of your speeches were very amazing. So much going into it, so much that we could take away from it. I wish you all the luck as you move forward. To the Historical Society, thank you for continuing this and all the work that you do within Alexandria. It is extremely important that we remember our history, we remember our echos, as was said, and that we improve upon that as we move forward. So thank you all for being here tonight.
First, thank you to the Historical Society, again, not just for tonight, but creating this space where you can celebrate folks who are developing their love of history or being able to further it. I wish he was here, but it was great to see my childhood friend Seth Tinkham get an award and merit. We were in the Cub Scouts together back at St. Stephen's, St. Agnes School. And so to be able to connect a couple of dots here today is fabulous. But it is kind of that, I think as a couple of recipients said it, it is that first connection with history that makes you curious about what you don't already know, and so you're willing to jump down the rabbit hole and learn more. But I also want to give kudos to the parents for allowing that space for your young people to be curious as well. And also the teachers, to be able to call out and validate that love of history is something sensational that is going to start for each of these young people their career in history or their lifelong love of history. I do not ever forget my 5th grade teacher, Mrs. Beatty, who gave me an award for social studies and history for starting me on that journey as well. And so it is these adults that surround our young people to kind of allow them to grow in history, be curious, and set the future for how we preserve and interpret history. Because as I see it today, that future is bright, especially with these 4 young people. Going on to do amazing things, but having that love of history. And again, with the support of the Alexandria Historical Society and the greater Alexandria community at large, being able to foster that love of history. As somebody said, we have a ton of history here in this city, and so there is so much more for you to come back and learn and help us grow and preserve. And so I'm excited to see, again, another group of young people loving history and being recognized for that as well. So thank you very, very much for everybody in attendance.
Well, now it's my great pleasure to introduce tonight's keynote speaker, Dr. Peter R. Henriques. Now, Dr. Henriques is Professor of History Emeritus at George Mason University, and he's the author of several books about a Virginian, you might have heard of him, named George Washington. Some of his books include George Washington, His Quest for Honor and Fame, First and Always, A New Portrait of George Washington, and Realistic Visionary, A Portrait of George Washington. Now, during his teaching career, Dr. Henriques taught American and Virginia history with a special emphasis on the Virginia founding generation. He has also served on the editorial board for the Papers of George Washington. And for his contributions to our understanding of the founding era, he won the 2012 George Washington Masonic Memorial Award. Dr. Henriques earned his PhD in history from the University of Virginia. And as a side note, I used to work at Mount Vernon, and his books were always recommended to us. So when we were engaging with thousands and thousands of people each year from all over the world about Washington and his complicated and compelling life and legacy, Dr. Henriques' books were a key part of our arsenal for interpreting that past. So we are honored to have him be tonight's keynote speaker for his address, It's True, Studying History is Worth the Time and Effort. Dr. Henriques, the floor is yours. And we will have copies of his book available for purchase after the meeting tonight.
Greetings. It's a joy to speak to a group that's happy and celebrating. And particularly looking out at the age of the group, I have to confess to you, most of my audiences, the average age is somewhere between 50 and death. So this is really nice to have a younger group. And being here reminds me a little, when I was at George Mason, I was the coordinator, regional coordinator for National History Day. And I did it for many years because it constantly inspired me with the intelligence, the enthusiasm, and excitement that young people can find. It made me feel optimistic about the future, just like this kind of night does exactly the same thing. Since we have some bright students here, I thought I would start with one tough question to see if any of you could answer it. And if you could, raise your hand. First one up, if you know, wins. Who was William McKinley's vice president in his second term? Okay, more studying to do. Just wanted to, in this day and age, probably they'd say, well, why the hell do I need to know that? Hello, Siri, what's the answer? When Pam asked me to speak on the value of history, I debated whether to go to ChatGPT for suggestions, and I'm sure there would be good information on the value of history. Indeed, when I started to listen to Davy, I said, I might sneak out of here. I'm not sure I can match some of the insights that he had. But I didn't look at ChatGPT. I'm simply going to give you my reaction to my many years as an historian, and especially as a historian of George Washington. The Greeks had an injunction, and that injunction was, know thyself. I think there's great wisdom in these two words, know thyself, although it is a lot more difficult than you think. We are extremely complex creatures. But think for a minute, who are you? And why are you as you are? And consider for a moment some theoretical possibilities. How different your life would have been. Let's say you had been brought up by atheists, or by fundamentalist Christians, or if you had been brought up by racist, or by woke parents, or if you'd been brought up by very wealthy parents, or very poor parents, or if you had lived in Russia, or China, or Sudan. All the impacts of where we are and the impact it has on us. And for me, value of family history, because I'm working on a project right now. I finished my writing on George Washington, now it's going to be on the family history. It's important, not so you can say, my folks came on the Mayflower, or I can be a member of the Sons of the American Revolution or the Daughters of the American Revolution, but rather because your family history can help you know that injunction, know thyself. My challenge is I want to share. I'm lucky enough, I have 4 wonderful sons. One of them drove me here tonight, and thank God he drove. They took directions. We went past the airport I live out in Gainesville, Virginia. Normally, where are we? But we made it. And I have 12 wonderful grandchildren, 8 grandsons, and 4 granddaughters. And my project is to give them a family history of how their parents were brought up to help them know themselves. And it starts with me meeting my beautiful wife, now of over 64 years, Marlene, that started it all. And it will end with my sons marrying. Nothing on the grandchildren, just on their parents. Now, it's not only how I remember it. I did something that I urge all of you to do. I kept a journal, not a day-by-day journal, but a month, 6 months, 3 months, 2 months, when events happened, when thoughts occurred. I have a journal that goes back to 1962. I literally opened it the other day, and there it was, 10.7 gallons of gas, $3.25. Found a wonderful place to stay, $8. Life's changed a bit that way. But the value of a journal is you'll be surprised as you look back. The memories it will bring, and also, gee, did I say that, do that? Did I believe that stuff? I mean, you do change over the period of time. And it's really, if you do it 50 years from now, assuming AI doesn't wipe us out in the meantime, 50 years from now, you'll be darn happy to go back and revive those memories and hopefully share it with your children and eventually grandchildren. I want to talk a little bit about my own life as a professional historian. The quote by James Madison is why I basically joined. History is full of entertainment and education, instruction. It's instructive and it's also fun and interesting. I have nothing against a good novel. I enjoy it. But history well written and told, there's so much drama in history just from the period I focus on. Try to read The Duel of Alexander Hamilton and Aaron Burr. He was vice president of the United States when he shot the former famous Secretary of the Treasury. About Benedict Arnold, Washington's right-hand man, committing treason, and the challenge and the sadness of having to hang Major John Andre. Frederick Douglass and his unbelievable escape and struggle and writing against the evils of slavery. You can go on and on. Theodore Roosevelt, when he loses his wife and his daughter on the very same day, and the impact it has on his life. Franklin Roosevelt battling to overcome polio. Or in modern terms, the challenge to capture and kill Osama bin Laden. It's unlimited in the amount of exciting things that can be true. And the advantage of history is that it's true as opposed to an historical novel. But when I say true, as a professional historian, I have to qualify what true means. Sadly, even the best history will never be completely accurate. The surroundings that are the context of any person's life are an integral part of it, and history can never reveal them in full. The past is a foreign country. They do things different there. We're left with clues, guessing life in the context, but we get these clues from people who are colored by their suppositions and interpreted by people with their suppositions. So, practiced by mature minds, history forces us to be aware of complexity. It's never simple, it's never totally complete. And sadly, it teaches us sometimes the bad guys win. It is not always a straight line up along that way. Now, he mentioned history repeats itself, and we're pretty much on the same page, I can tell. It'd be fun to chat with you later. But it doesn't repeat itself, but it tends to be repetitious. There's the echoes that he made that comment. Why does it tend to be repetitious? It tends to be repetitious because human nature repeats itself. And the people in the past, many hundred years ago, had the same kind of desires, urges for power, love, and freedom that we do. And there were scoundrels and cowards and would-be tyrants. And there were people of integrity, wisdom, and courage. It has been, it will be, and I think it always will be. As he mentioned, I started teaching my career as a generalist. American Survey, Civil War, 20th century, Virginia history, local history, etc. But over the last half of my tenure at George Mason, and I hate to admit this, but over more than 20 years after my retirement, all my books were written, by the way, after I retired, because I was focused mainly on teaching. I got in trouble. You need to research stuff that no one will read. the emphasis was, when I had time to do it, I focused my study on one man, George Washington. How did that happen? How so? Things happen often in history when you look back. Small things lead you in a direction you don't really think you're going to go, but you end up there. George Mason had a new faculty position in local history. I'm not a local historian, although I tried to be, and I quickly retooled my vita. And one of the things in my interview, I said, if I got this job, I would set up a local history and I got the job, and I became an editor of a magazine, Northern Virginia Heritage, which had people from Alexandria, and T. Michael Miller was one of the people. Is he still alive? No. And he's younger than I. That's not good. But we have, the thing is that who's the most famous man in Northern Virginia? Obviously, George Washington. So it got me to look at Washington in a way that I had not done before. And what I discovered surprised me. The image of Washington that I had, impressive looking, nice facade, good man to rally around, but not that smart, not that clever. He can't match a Jefferson or a Hamilton. He's really kind of dull. Look at the Washington monuments today. Jefferson and Lincoln, the Democratic saints of democracy, they dominate their memorial. Think of Lincoln and then Jefferson. Washington Monument, no touch of woman flesh at all. It's big, but it doesn't reach out, and it doesn't connect you. And the George Washington I discovered was a very different man indeed, a man of tremendous passion, although almost always keeping it under control. A highly skilled politician, but so skilled people didn't even know he was a politician. And that's really skill when you don't think they're doing it. High intelligence, and a naturally charismatic. I mean, he's a man in present day age, he would be 6'5", of tremendous muscular strength. The best horseman of his age, which is being like LeBron James on the Lakers in terms of getting attention. And he ends up being unanimously elected Commander-in-Chief of the Continental Army, unanimously elected to be the President of the Constitutional Convention, unanimously be elected President of the United States, and almost more amazing, unanimously re-elected to be President of the United States. He not only leads America to independence, but he also led it to nationhood, and the two things are not the same. In briefest essence, no George Washington, no United States of America. Wouldn't you kind of like to know somebody like that? Of course, we can't know him, and we can never know him completely. But Washington, with his eye on the future, he wants secular immortality. He saved everything like a squirrel. I mean, his papers are being printed by the University of Virginia. It's well done. By the time it's finished, there'll be over 80 volumes of over 700 pages apiece. I keep you busy on a weekend, if you're looking, and you can get a pretty good sense of a person going through that current spot. Of course, you'll never get completely to know him, but you can get to know him. And by the way, just as an aside for historians, all of the founding fathers' papers are online, Founders Online, where you can just go, and if you want to read the letters between Jefferson and Madison, for the sake of argument, you can read them all. Or if you want to read what does Washington say, democracy, you can click democracy in and see how often, if at all, he mentions the term. It's unlimited. I think when I was getting my PhD, sitting there reading an old Richmond Times, copying it down, times have changed, and in many ways for the better. He's repaid my study in helping me live a more fulfilled life, focusing on the importance of integrity, modesty, being realistic about how the world really was, that one can be a devout patriot and also be concerned with one's personal interest. The way he faced disappointment, defeat, illness, and ultimately death has been a role model for me. One of my favorite quotes, and as you listen to this, how well do you live up to it? Can you live up to it? I hope I shall always possess a sufficient degree of fortitude to bear without murmuring any stroke which may happen to me. To bear with fortitude any stroke, because there's danger out there in that world. It isn't all smooth and happy. Now, of course, there are no perfect men, and George Washington was not a perfect man. The grating chain of slavery and racism snaked through the new republic and diminished every life it touched. And it diminished George Washington's life. But an understanding of history can allow us in the present age not simply dismissing, well, Washington was a man stealer. He owned slaves. He's worth nothing. History can help you understand, why was he a slaveholder? Well, when he's brought up in a family that owns and is dependent on slave labor for their existence, when his parents support slavery, when his Bible supports slavery, when his church supports slavery, when his government supports slavery, when societal leaders support slavery, it can't be a surprise that as a young person he's going to grow up accepting slavery much the way we accept poverty. Wish it wasn't there, but that's the way it is. And it's much more interesting to me, how did he end up being the only founding father to actually free the slaves that he was in possession of at the time of his death? And that's a more interesting challenge. You have to judge the context of people in making their assessments. To me, if the goal is know thyself, and it's a worthwhile goal, the study of history is an essential tool to do that. Doing so is a lifelong venture. To the young people and all of us, enjoy the journey. Thanks so much. Now I'm embarrassed.
I'm back. What an amazing night. I just want to clap again for all the recipients, for our keynote speaker. I want to thank the board. Thank you for keeping this going for 42 years. We thank you. I don't know what to say. I want to be like you all when I grow up. So, and thank the parents. I want to thank the parents and the teachers. I can remember that my mom, she took me every Sunday to a museum after church growing up. So I got my love for history like that. I always go back to Councilman Chapman, his grandmother. She was an advocate, so I'm a community advocate, so he's in the right place, the city council. She was my hairdresser when I was young, and I used to scream getting my hair done. But that's how I remember her and strategizing on women's issues. So, I just thank you and just I'm just so elated. This is a really good program. And let me see who else I need to thank. Our council members. And this is history, and this history is being recorded. And you have Alexandria City High School videographer, Daisy Suisavan, to thank. And her teacher, Vilma Zephron, she's not here, she's gone, but she helped her set up. So I want to thank you. Let me see did I miss anyone? Consuela. She did our program. Thank you. And just thank you for. And you will be able to see it on YouTube in a few weeks. And I tell you to keep learning. And Scott said that, history got he got his wife through history. History can take you places. I remember working on my PhD program, and I was so tired of writing 25 and 35, pages. So my professor said, you can go to the Amazon jungle for a while. And I was like, I'll take it. So that's what. And you have to have that support. So my mother supported me. When I was growing up, I supported my kids in history. My daughter's a history major. And then my husband let me go to the Amazon jungle, for history. So thank you all for coming. Have a good night. It's been, I know you're ready to go, but we were glad to have you. And you can get a signed copy and buy a book of Professor Henriques. Thank you.